Hello, everyone. How is everybody doing?
We are doing good. How are you too?
Great.
Fine.
Greetings, Doc. Good evening. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Doing okay.
Happy Saturday from Japan, Doc.
Okay, good. Good. That's a good one.
Japan
is in Saturday already.
We're doing okay.
All right. Great.
Good evening. Good evening.
Evening.
From Japan.
Good evening,
Wow.
Dr.
Yes. So we are going to start here shortly. So today we have the privilege of bringing Michael back. And I think we were trying to get some of the correspondence that we had with Michael before he started the training. But we're having some technical issues, but we are still going to have it up for everybody to be able to see where Michael started and where he's at right now. Right. So we are streaming on YouTube as well. Please give me a second. I think. All right, so I think we are going to go ahead and start. Welcome, everyone. This is Eretmis Cyber Chat. I appreciate everybody's time. It's Friday night. Happy Friday. You could have been anywhere else, but you chose to be here to learn and to develop yourself. Today, we are privileged to have one of our own. Michael is going to walk us through step by step how he's gotten to where he's gotten to within this shortest possible time or within this short time. Michael, we talked to Michael, I think in February or in January. Part of the recording was bad. So we are bringing Michael back and he has something extra to add to what he's going to share today. So sit tight and, be ready to pick up some of the insights that we are going to gain from today's chat. And Sheila is going to be my co-pilot. So I'll have Sheila take it from here. And then whilst when we are almost done, I'm going to share some of the correspondence that we had with Michael. I think Michael, it was around 2022, April 2022 was when Michael first reached out to us. He wanted to start a career in cybersecurity, and almost a year. I think it's almost a year now. We are in May, right? April was almost a year. Now Michael has, so the title that we sent around or for this chat, last time we spoke to Michael was making 6 figures. Now he's up the 6 figures to 200 plus, right? How did he do it? He's going to explain. He's here to talk to us and explain everything by himself. So I'll have Michael introduce himself, but before then, Sheila is going to be my co-pilot. So I'll give it over to Sheila, and then Sheila will introduce Michael, and we'll take it from here, right? So
hello, Doc.
Yes.
Hello, Doc. Yeah, before you begin, can we have a recording of this?
Yeah, this time it is going to be recorded. Plus, we are streaming it live on YouTube. So even if we fail to record, YouTube is going to capture everything, right? But we are recording. So we have officially started. Sheila, please go ahead, take it from here, and I'll come back in when we are almost done.
Thank you. Thank you, boss. So welcome, everybody. My name is Sheila. I am the Regional Cybersecurity Analyst for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
All right, Sheila, I think you are muted.
No, I'm not.
Watch yourself, honey. Watch yourself.
We can hear her.
I can hear you.
You can hear you, Sheila.
You can hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh. So I think it's Dr. Edu that couldn't hear me then. Sorry. Thank you, guys.
Stop.
Yeah, so let's wait for him for a little bit to start it again.
It looks like every time I'm on, there is a technical issue.
Can you hear me, Dr. Edu? I cannot hear you. You're muted.
Yes, I can hear you. Go
Oh,
ahead,
awesome.
Sheila.
I think the recording stopped too. So if you want to check to make sure it's recording.
Yeah, I just started.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you everybody for being here tonight. I think we've always said it that it's Friday, you could be anywhere and you're here. So it's an improvement to your life, I believe, and this time will not be wasted. Thank you for being here. And hi, Michael. You and I will be talking in the back after this with all this money. So today we have Michael. Michael, please introduce yourself to everyone and then we can get started.
Yeah, hello everybody. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. So I'm Michael and Michael Yeboah. I'm originally from Ghana and I was a past president and I'm still going to be a future student of Eretmis. I'm part of the Eretmis family. And as Dr. Edu said earlier, I did join Eretmis last year, April, and then went through, all the process. And, as you guys can see on the flyer, I was able to land my dream job first, and then I was able to land my second dream job as well. So, so I'm ready, to walk you guys through the process, and hopefully, we can get everybody on this call to where, we all want to be. So, that's my motive, and that's why, I'm here this evening where I am, talking to you guys. So I'm here, I'm available for any questions, and, whatever you guys want to throw at me, just feel free, ask your questions directly and also indirectly. And I'm also going to leave my contact, so you guys can reach out to me in case you guys, need any guidance or, anything or any help with anything you guys are going through related to, cybersecurity. So, so I'm here, and just feel free to reach out, on the call and after the call as well. So, and that's all I have for now.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. So today, we're going to have Michael walk us through how he landed his cybersecurity job, or how he switched from what he used to be to where he is now, and then some, and then the second one. So Michael, you will have a few extra questions, but that is the goal today. Thank you again for doing this. It's an opportunity for people here. This is the only platform that there's so many people in the line that have gotten a job. So I'm sure you are in the right place if you are pursuing this. So Michael, real quick, if you can tell us what did you used to do before you became a cybersecurity professional?
Yeah, so I moved to the US as an international student. So my first degree was actually in biology. So after my first degree, I was planning to actually go to pharmacy school. So that was the plan, go to pharmacy school. But then within, finishing up my first degree and then applying for pharmacy school, I was working in the meantime, as a behavioral, health professional. So when it came time to, go ahead and then apply for pharmacy school, I was thinking about, the options I had out there. So with pharmacy, yeah, you probably, end up making more or less as like a cybersecurity professional. So speaking to my wife actually came up with the idea, about, joining, the cybersecurity field. And I wasn't actually sure about it because, by profession or by training, I've always been a science guy. So, I was always going towards the medical field, so pharmacy. But then by talking to my wife, I started exploring cybersecurity, and I was looking at the pay, and I was like, okay, it was more flexible, number one. It was more flexible, and the pay was there. So like basically, like pharmacists, you end up making more or less the same thing as a cybersecurity professional makes, at least from what, I'm currently making. So I assessed that, and also, the fact that you get to work from home, so getting to work from home as well was one factor. So, having that flexibility. So, talking to my wife was like, I think you are right. So let me take you up on, on this idea. So I started exploring, looking for classes. And then that's when, Eretmis actually just popped up on my Facebook feed. So I wasn't even, looking for Eretmis, but it just happened to pop up. So, and then I saw it was being run by Dr. Edu. So, went online. As Sheila says, Dr. Edu has probably one of the person with most background checks, on him. So I just went ahead and, did my own background check on Dr. Edu to see if this guy is really legit, if he's real. right? Because sometimes, as Dr. Du said, there are a lot of people out there, selling smoke, right? So I did my background and looked at his, his past experiences, and I said to myself, I think this is, the right class. This is the right class for me. So I actually, got on a call with Dr. Du, and on our first call, I mean, it was crazy because I told Dr. Du, I'm willing to get into the class, but I need to start working in less than 5 months, right? And Dr. Du looked at me like, like I was crazy, probably, and I know he wanted to laugh, but he didn't laugh at my face, but he probably laughed, within him. So I told Dr. Du, and I'm sure he was like, you don't have any experience, and you're coming into this field, and you are talking about, trying to get a work in 5 months, but with his help and hard work, I was able to make it happen. So as Dr. Du said earlier, I did join Eretmis last year, April, and I think by the middle of September, I was working. So yeah, so more or less, it was about 5 months to start my journey. And I came with no prior experience. So as I said earlier, my background was all in science, but nothing related to IT. So I didn't have any IT background. I mean, the only thing I knew about IT is, just going online and, doing the normal online stuff. But I didn't have no background in IT and no background in cybersecurity before joining.
My goodness, Michael, you're touching all the questions.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Slow down. Slow down your horse.
All right.
You have a smart woman. I must tell you that. Your wife.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes. So that's a good job to her. Why did you decide to switch? I know you've touched on a few things, but why did you actually decided that, okay, I'm going to do this?
Yeah, so I was looking at 3 things, right? So number one, the most important thing for me was the flexibility, not even the money per se, right? Having to, being able to work from home or even on a hybrid schedule, having, the chance to spend time with the family, because within COVID, my son actually came within COVID. So it was really, really nice having to, spend time with him. So my number one thing I was looking for was the flexibility. The second was the money. And, the third was career. And I felt like cybersecurity was the area where I could achieve all these 3 goals. So that's why I went straight into cybersecurity. And, and yes, indeed, after this, let's say this 1 year, I've actually, been able to move up. So I started as a GRC specialist, and then my other job, I'm a senior, information security analyst now. So
nice.
As I said, the money is there, the flexibility is there, and then the career path is also there. So I was looking for these 3 goals, and, and I was able to achieve this, in more than a year. So it's possible.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. So tell us, I know you're saying you're touching some parts, but I want you to tell us a little bit into detail, walk us through how you actually started the process of switching the career from your previous job to where you are now. How did you do the transition? What was the process when you started?
Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't an easy process. Coming from a background that's not remotely related to IT or cybersecurity. I mean, I had my struggles, but as I said earlier, I told Dr. Du I wanted to do this in 5 months. So I actually went ahead and signed up for the entry-level course. And by talking to Dr. Du, he told me the entry-level course actually came with an internship as well. So it came with an internship and then the job placement assistance. So number one, the entry-level course actually gave me the fundamentals and the basis, to be able to stand on my legs. And then the internship actually was the game changer. So during the internship, I actually, got to do real hands-on cybersecurity and industry work. And that's why I gained some experience for the first job. And then also the job placement assistance. That's when Dr. Du, helped me through the interview process. So whenever I get an interview, I'll reach out to Dr. Du, and Dr. Du will help me, prepare for the interview and at least, put me on the right path to be able to do well on the interview. So, number one, I signed up for the entry-level course. Number 2, go through the internship. And then number 3, went through the job placement assistance. And then number 4, apply all the knowledge and the basis and the fundamentals that was provided, to me by Dr. Du and Eretmis.
Okay, that's perfect. Yeah, all the time when we finish this, people will sometimes have questions like, how did you which class did you take? So now, guys, you see how he started. He took the entry-level course first. He did the internship, which is part of the process. And then after that, you do the job placement, which shows you, gives you details of where you can apply, how you put your resume together, and all the processes that you're going to be using to go through the application process. So that's good. All right. So you didn't have any cybersecurity knowledge, any background in terms
Zero.
of IT.
Zero. When I tell you it's zero, it's zero. Like, no.
So when you decided that you want to do this, there's so many cybersecurity bootcamp training now. A lot of colleges, universities are offering it now. How did you decide, or what was your research? How did you do your research? How did you decide that this is where you need to take your class to be able to achieve your goal?
Yeah, absolutely. So, so I would challenge everybody to, to be able to find a course that provides you with a hands-on internship. Like, there's that was a game changer for me. So when I saw Eretmis offered, that option, that's the internship, because at the end of the day, when you go to interviews, I mean, the hiring managers don't really care about the theory. You can know what, what an encryption is, what, risk management is in a theoretical form, but they want to know the hands-on. What can you do for the company? What can you do for us to move us ahead, right, in the cyber world? So basically, I was just comparing courses, and then Eretmis had this internship and the job placement assistance. Most courses, once you are done, you're on your own, right? You finish the course, that's it. You can come back to the instructor, whoever it is, to help navigate the industry, right? But Dr. Du actually was, from what I read, and also after talking to Dr. Du assured me, so you're going to get through the entry-level course, they're going to get you through the internship, and then you're going to have the job placement assistant. And then truly, all these 3 steps was met by, by Eretmis. So basically, if you compare all the courses out there, none of the courses offers you an internship, and none of them offers you a job placement assistant. So basically, job placement assistance, Eretmis is going to actually hold your hands and walk you through the process so you land your first job. And trust me, no other course out there does that.
That's true. That you hit it. You hit it. That's true. So I'm still hammering this a little bit. You don't have any cybersecurity background, so it's like not speaking French, and then you are given a French book to read. This is how the curriculum is provided. For me, that's how it's going to look like. To me, when you look at Dr. Du's curriculum, it's going to be like you're reading French when you don't have any IT background. That's what most people would think, but it's not like that. So without your IT background, looking at the curriculum when you talk to him, saw the plan and all the classes that you're going to be taking, what were the key things that influenced your decision to choose Eretmis? Yeah,
so I mean, if you're taking a course, right, you have to know the background of the person teaching the course. So from Dr. Du's background, Dr. Du have, taught at various universities, and he had, experience in the Army. He was an Army captain, so basically he was a leader, right? So if you want to take a course and you take a course under those circumstances, the person leading the course knows how, to take you from zero. Like, let's say, teaching a baby how to walk, right? So the way Dr. Du have the course structured is going to take you, from 0 to 100. So basically, just teaching you from how to walk, how to crawl, how to stand, and then how to run, right? So the way the course is structured, it takes you to a process. So it's going to be a step-by-step process. It's not like a process where you just jump in, or maybe like some courses out there, they'll just take you straight away, through risk management or through RMF, right? But Dr. Du will start from, the basis of cybersecurity. So even just the basics, just understanding how, just on, off a computer, how the computer works. So basically taking you through the learning process from like a zero knowledge based position to a position where you can function on your own when you land your first cybersecurity job. So you always have to look at the person you are taking the course with, understand their background, and that actually is going to help you, it's going to help guide you make your decision. So in my case, I saw his background. He's been a professor for a lot of years, And I was like, okay, I guess this guy, right? I said guy then, but I know he's a doctor. So this doctor is basically the right person, to take the course with, because the way the course is going to be structured, he's taught before, he knows how to teach, and he's going to structure it in a way where it's going to take you from zero to where wherever you want to get to.
That's true. That's amazing. His teaching, his patient and the way he teaches, I think he can even teach like preschoolers and all that, because sometimes we ask some questions and I'm expecting him to be upset, but it's interesting.
And also let me add to this. I mean, and what I'm saying, you don't have to sign up for a paid course before you can verify all I'm saying. You can just go on the website. I think for like the entry-level course, they have like a free cybersecurity entry-level course. So you can play those videos and listen to, like, it's free. So you just play those and compare the teachings, like the tempo, how he speaks, and then compare it to maybe other classes you've taken in other places and see the differences, right? So it's not, it's not just talking to have people sign up for things. Just go on the website and just play some of the free teachings he has over there, and you can compare it to, like, the other classes out there, and then make your own, informed decision.
Great. Timeline. So we've talked to several people. Some took like a year, some took like 6 months, some took like, interestingly, last week, to my surprise, somebody did it in 2 weeks. Okay, so what was your process? How long? What was your timeline? Milestone? How did you structure this? I know you were talking about some 5 months, but how long did it take you actually completing the class itself, and then probably the internship? And
the class took me exactly 4 weeks to get through. 4 weeks. So that's how bad I wanted it. I mean, so yes, I mean, I was like studying day and night. And I was working, in a hospital facility. So I was working night shift, and in that span, that 4 week span, the most I slept probably was like 2 hours a day. Like, I was working at night, and whilst I was at work, I was, going through the course materials, and I'll come home, and then that's what I would probably like sleep like for like 2 hours most, and then wake up and then go into the materials. Like, that's how bad I wanted it. So so it took me 4 weeks to get through the course itself. So 4 weeks to get through the course. And then I joined the internship, and the internship took about 2 months. And then I actually landed my first job before we finished the internship. So, so everything 5 months. So 4 weeks for the entry-level course, 2 months for the internship. And then, so.
Wow, that's amazing. You didn't quit your job. You didn't.
Absolutely not.
Yes. So how did you combine your work? You slept only 2 hours. How about your family? I'm sure you have family. How did you combine that?
Yeah, it was tough. And when I started the course, my son was just like a few months old. So, and that was like during COVID. So it was, and it was just me, myself, my wife, and then my son. So, it was a lot of pressure on her. But then she kept pushing me, because she knew, what light I had. So even though, sometimes it was so hard, not that I wanted to give up, I was tired. She kept, pushing me and telling me, just go ahead and get it done. So, I mean, major props to her, because she was basically handling, our son, and I couldn't really help her that much because I was so focused, and she was pushing me to do it too as well. And it finally paid off for us. So, so I wouldn't have been able to do it without her. So, so major props to her, that's for sure. So.
Wow. I hope she's hearing this. That's amazing. Good job, though. Yes, good job. How will you, what do you think about?
I'm gonna go tell her that she has blown the cover.
I missed the question.
It's not supposed to be taking questions now.
Yeah, please take questions. We have so many questions for Mike. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, John. Yeah, that's.
We will be patient. We will.
This.
Sorry, we will. We'll take questions. Jean. Sorry. So, Michael.
Yes.
How did you how did you land the job itself in terms of your interview process? How did you land the job? If you
Yeah,
can
and
run.
as I was saying earlier, the internship actually from Eretmis was a game changer for me, right? So I mean, and I did a lot of interviews. So first of all, and that's what I'll tell most people, don't just give up after a couple of interviews. No, it's something you have to get used to, right? So most times you apply for jobs and they'll tell you to go with somebody else. Don't just fall back on yourself. Just pick yourself up and and keep pushing forward. So it wasn't easy. So my couple of interviews, it was a mess, and it was it was normal. It was my first interviews. I just switched from a totally different field, so I had to get my feet wet. I was getting used to it, and within the process, Dr. Du was helping me and holding my hands through the process. So, and to get a job itself, as I said earlier, the internship was a game changer. So basically at the interview, they actually, just asked me to speak about my experiences, right? So I just started from, speaking from what we had done in the internship from week 1. So week 1, auditing, risk register, third-party risk management policies. So, and they were just, just looking at me and, just nodding. So I was just walking them through all the things I did. And, after the interview, the day after, they called me and they told me, they wanted me to join their team. So, and you can imagine how I was, running and I wanted to yell, it was crazy. It was amazing. It was amazing. So, yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, will you say that the training that you got at Eretmis fully prepared you for this career change, or did you get some knowledge from somewhere? Did you combine something to this training that you got, or it was just strictly all the information that you got from Eretmis, or the training that you got, that is what has gotten you here?
So it's strictly all what I got from Eretmis that had, gotten me to where I am now. So let me just, give it practical examples so that way it doesn't look like I'm giving just stories, right? So
Okay.
In the internship, we did risk management, right? And for my company, I'm in charge of risk management, right? So Eretmis basically, so Dr. Du is going to walk you through, all these steps. And you don't have to expect Dr. Du to, do a whole load of work in a 2-month span, right? So it's going to get you, it's going to get your feet wet. So it's not going to, you're going to do the work, but it's not going to be I don't even know how, probably the best way to put it. It's just probably going to touch on the most important roles, for as an information security professional, right? So from the internship, I did risk management, and for my company, as I said earlier, I'm in charge of risk management, right? From the internship, I did policy. So we actually did draft, updates, and create, basically write new policies. And for my company, I'm in charge of our policies and also, compliance. So basically for my company, I'm actually in charge of our SOX compliance, which is the Sarbanes-Oxley. And we actually, review some of the frameworks out there during the internship. And also for my company, investigate security violations. That's something I do. And those are some of the skills I picked up from the internship, security awareness, trainings. I mean, it's a lot of things. So I just want to give some practical examples of the things you're going to do in the internship that's going to carry on, to your workplace. So basically, yes, the internship actually, did actually prepare me for both the entry-level courses, gave me the basis and the fundamentals, right, to be able to, to speak to some of the materials. But then the internship is what actually prepared me for the workplace. So actually, yes, everything strictly arithmetic did prepare me for the job I currently hold.
Amazing. That's interesting. So when you were answering this, you were walking into the next question that I was going to be asking. Now you are a cybersecurity professional. What do you do at your job? How do you start your day? Walk us through that process in a day, or probably depending on what you do. Sometimes in a day might be just checking emails here and there, but it depends. So just give us an idea of what you do.
Yeah, so I actually work from home. Both positions are remotely, right? Are remote, so I work remotely from home. So okay, let me just go with my first job. So just give a practical example. So yeah, so in the morning, just turn on my computer, and mind you, so my job, we really don't have a schedule, right? So it's more project based. So you have the assignment, you just get it done. So sometimes, let's say my work in a day, I can get done in 2 hours, and then it's up to me if I want to catch up or maybe recover on some other things I want to do for the job, or if I want to just go out and work, that's up to me. So in the morning, I'll get on my laptop and then just look at normally meetings. So for cybersecurity professionals, we have a lot of, well, it depends, but like meetings are one big aspect of our daily job. So I'll look at the meetings I have for the day, and based on those meetings, I'll basically work my work schedule around those meetings. So some days it might be like I have a third-party risk management, so I have to reach out to an onboarding vendor. So it might be just for that. So and then the rest of the day is just going to be meetings. So the priority actually is the meetings, because those meetings are scheduled so you can miss the meetings, right? But like the other things, you can schedule it around the meetings. So like sometimes I have to launch security awareness trainings to our users or our employees. So sometimes I have to do that. So it depends. So some days, yeah. So just get on my computer, look at my meetings, and based on the meetings I have, I'll just model my working schedule around those meetings. So it varies day to day.
Okay, thank you. What are some of the skills? So going to start this career, there's so many experiences that you need to be able to start it, and there's so many that you might lack. But if you do have some experience, it's able to carry you through, that you can go far before you actually build the other experiences that you are lacking. So what are some of the non-technical skills that that has helped you? I mean, like, what are some of the things, the skills that you, it's not technical, but you think that doing this particular job has been able to help you through where, to get to where you are now? So.
Yeah, so I think one non-technical, I would say, is patience. It takes a lot of patience in this industry, yeah, because sometimes the way you take security seriously, because I mean that's your job, right? And that's what your job depends on. So sometimes the way you take it, how you take it seriously, that's not the way maybe somebody from HR or somebody from the finance department takes it, right? So sometimes you have to know how to talk to people and how to approach people, right? So basically, sharpening your people skills. So a lot of patience. So I would say, yeah. So patience is probably one of the qualities, or one of the qualities. Basically, you have to, that actually helped me, be able to, not go insane. And so I would say patience. It takes a lot of patience in this field, because security, it's critical, and the criticality we in the field, or the professionals, know how critical it is. But the way we know it, that's not how somebody maybe from another department in your company might know it. So you always have to be patient and and know how to talk to people and how to approach people in order to to get the work done. So yeah.
Good. So basically soft skills.
Soft skills, exactly. And yeah, and Dr. Du, Dr. Du, even before your hard skills, Dr. Du preaches soft skills, like you make your head full of soft skills. That's all he preaches. Soft skills, soft skills, and he keeps stressing on it. And it's so important. Soft skills, like it's the game changer.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So what are some of the tools that you use, the cybersecurity tools that you use? Some I've learned, some use tools, some don't use some tools at all. So what are some of the tools that you use currently at your position?
Yes, so for my GRC, so my title is actually GRC specialist. So for my GRC day-to-day job, we use Zen GRC, actually, which, yeah. So with that, I do our risk management. So with risk management, we do risk register and third-party risk management, right? So that's the number one tool. So basically, I always call it my second wife, because, I spend most of my time on Zen GRC when I'm at work. And the second tool we use is Proofpoint. So Proofpoint, we use Proofpoint, so basically since it's a hospital facility, it's a hospital company, we actually always careful on, PHI. So we actually even have to be in compliance with HIPAA. So we do PHI and PII. So we use Proofpoint. So whenever there is data leaving our systems, Proofpoint will, if the data contains PHI or PII, Proofpoint will flag it, right? It will flag it to me, and then I have to go in and then reach out to the person who is trying to send that data out, and and make some inquiries. So you have to give me a business reason why we have to send this information out. So if your business reason is valid, then okay, fine. I'm gonna give the go ahead and let the information be released. But if it's not, then I have to escalate it, and then we have to do investigation and see why this person was trying to send data when it wasn't necessary. So we use Proofpoint for that, and also we use Proofpoint for fraudulent activities like phishing. So whatever there is in a phishing email, Proofpoint will detect it and let us know. And we also use Proofpoint from preventing people from hooking up their USBs, so devices, external devices, or printing on our system. So basically, my two main tools are ZenGRC and Proofpoint. And on the tools, I just want to stress that for if you are upcoming and you are trying to break into the field, don't be too stuck on the tools, right? So there are just 3 tools I would say learn for yourself, which are tools that nobody's going to teach you, but then you have to learn on your own. So number 1 is Excel, right? Number 1, Excel, Word, and PowerPoint. So those ones, nobody's going to teach you those on the job. So before you even you are trying to apply for jobs, so whatever the case might be, make sure you have the basis of these tools. Because guess what? On the job, I know people who lost their job because they couldn't use Excel, right? So or PowerPoint. So those are 3 fundamental tools you have to know. Forget about all the other tools, because all the other tools, once you get on the job, they are going to train you on those, right? When I first joined my company, I didn't know how to use Proofpoint. I didn't know how to use NGRC. But guess what? My manager didn't care. All he wanted to know, can you use Excel? Can you use PowerPoint? Can you use Word? And yes, I was able to. So it made life easier for me. And they were able to train me on the ZenGRC tool and on Proofpoint. And now, I won't say I'm an expert, but at least I know my way around it, right? So those are the 3 tools. Always remember Excel, Word, and PowerPoint. Make sure you know those and forget about the rest. The rest, once you get on the job, they're going to teach you those, okay?
Great. That's very true. Excel, PowerPoint, and Word, that almost everybody that we talk to, or everywhere that you work, you would definitely use that. So I agree. So you've gotten your job. I'll skip some questions, and then I'm going to be asking you these first. Why you got a good job? What you were doing, your previous job, how was the money as compared to your first job? I believe there was a big difference, right?
Oh, huge difference, man. Don't get me started. Huge difference.
Okay, then I'm getting you started here. Yeah. Now, you got that, you're probably on the moon, and then all of a sudden, you have gotten a second job. Man,
so, yeah.
What brought this? Explain yourself. What made you decide to get a second job?
It's a crazy story, because I actually wasn't, planning on getting a second one, honestly, nice. Right? So how I think one of the recent cyber chat we had, Dr. Du was just because you always want to be current in in this field, because it's don't be stagnant, right? It's a field that keeps moving on, right? So Dr. Du was even though you have a job, just go ahead and just put in an application and start applying and just see your knowledge, test your knowledge, right, on what you're learning from your current job, if it's still relevant. So I just followed Dr. Du's advice, and I just put in applications, and I just got a call for an interview. So even after the interview, I was after the interview, I interviewed with the hiring manager and then the hiring manager's boss, right? So even after the interview, I thought, I answered all the questions, and nothing showed they had interest in me, right? So the guy was even oh, okay, well, we are just interviewing, and once we get the right person, we are going to make an offer. And he even told me, we are going to let you know, right? So that was it. And then next day, I get on my computer around 11 a.m. I see an email, and it was there's an offer from us. Would you please accept? So they gave me 48 hours to accept, right? So immediately I called Dr. Du, and I'm like, Dr. Du, this is what happened. I wasn't even looking for the job, so I didn't want to take it. So I called Dr. Du, I was messing around. He told us to just, go ahead and apply and mess around a little bit. So I was messing around, and then I actually got that offer. So I wasn't going to take it. And Dr. Du was like, no, you should. You should take it, but before you take it, go ahead and, talk to the hiring manager and, talk about the scheduling and see how, the job is going to be and see if there's not going to be any conflict or that, right? So, and I was still not convinced, but Dr. Du was like, no, Michael, just go ahead. You can do it, right? Because at the end of the day, this current one, you've been doing it for like almost 8 months now. So I think they're going to be able to, to manage it. So I mean, that's the story. Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
so honestly, if I didn't call Dr. Du, I wasn't going to take it. Yeah. But luckily I called him and he gave me the vim and he was like, go ahead and, and do it. Because I was actually just messing around. I wasn't, really looking because I thought I wasn't ready. I've just been in this company for like 7 months and Dr. Du was like, no. So sometimes, it's always good to, to talk to the right people. So,
wow.
Yeah.
There it is. That's so you were not, were you searching? How was the process? Were you, or I mean, how did this happen? Were you searching? Were you still putting your application in?
I just put in 3 applications. I just put in 3 applications, just to see if I was going to get a call and then see, just compare what I'm currently doing and see if it still applies. And funny thing is, there was another, so from the 3 applications I put in, I actually got a call for 2, right? And I did an interview for both. And there was one other company in Texas. They were actually even offering way more. But the only thing is they didn't have a cybersecurity program. So basically I had to come in and I didn't even tell them to do this, right? I had to like come in and set up everything. And that was going to be like too much of a, of a lift for me. And then I didn't think I was going to be able to manage both my current one and that one in Texas. So I ended up going with the one in Colorado, which was like reasonable. And it was like this, actually the same thing I'm currently doing in it's the same thing, like no difference. It's just like, it's just a senior level, right? So like the one I had was GRC specialist, and the new one is senior information security analyst. Even though they have, different job titles, I'm actually doing the same things. So like no difference.
Okay. Was the interview process, was it difficult? Was it challenging? So now you've searched, they called you, and was it hard? Was it different from the first time that you went through to get your first job, or it was similar since you were just kind of playing around?
To be honest, it was easy because it was things I've been already doing for like the past 8 months. So like even at the interview, like to be honest, I knew more than what my manager, because it's something I've been doing, and they didn't actually have somebody who managed the GRC program, right, for them. So like even when I came in, like basically they did have like a risk management program, but they don't have a risk management, for like basically exceptions for like servers when they are not being. So like I was even bringing up like different ideas from my old one, and my old one actually, my manager, like he's really good, like he's really actually training me a lot. So I was able to transfer all that knowledge I have over there to the other interview. So I guess they were impressed because most of the things I was even talking about, that I knew how to do, they didn't actually even have it in place at a new place, right? So I was probably actually going to come in and set up all those, those factors for them. So I guess that's actually one of the things that drove them, towards me. So
that's
great. So I'll say it was easier. It was easier just because it was things I was already doing. So, things I already knew how to do. So that made it easier.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So how do you manage the 2 jobs? How are you able to combine them? I know you said it's very similar. That is something that I personally have thought about it when I always thought about maybe should I go for a second job or not. And then you're thinking maybe a meeting might conflict, or maybe at this particular time you were supposed to be doing that. It's how are you able to combine this?
Yeah, so for the second one, they are both on 2 different time zones, right? So my first one is in the Eastern time zone, and the other one is in the mountain. So like they're actually 2 hours behind, right? So and moreover, the second one, I'm a senior, it's a senior level, so I actually get to schedule my own meetings for the most part, so I can play around it. So it depends, and I mean, it depends, because like the first one, the meetings are already pre-scheduled for me, right? Because I have a manager. But like in the second one, I'm actually basically working on my own, managing my own self. So if I have to like schedule a meeting and I feel like the meeting is going to conflict, then I'm just going to move it to a different time that's not going to conflict with the first one. So the second one actually, gives me more leeway because it's more, more something I have to manage on my own compared to the first one where I have to strictly, work with my manager's time.
Wow, that's good. That's really good. So now you were looking for a job for the first time, you got a job. Then the second one, you were not really looking, but you still got this job. From the beginning, where you used to be being a healthcare provider, and then you came up with a plan that you're going to switch. And then you went through the process, and then here you are. You made mention of certain things, certain reasons why you decided you wanted to switch: the money, family, career growth, and all that. Do you think you have achieved your goal? Have you gotten there yet? Are you satisfied?
Absolutely. I mean, being able to work from home, I mean, and, I think last week your husband was saying like, and I think Dr. Duke cut him off like, like this remote work, you can like do your work in 2 hours, for the day, and then, and you'll be good. So, I mean, I personally know a guy who's working for jobs, like, for cybersecurity jobs. So the flexibility is there. So it's up to you. If you want to spend all your time working and neglect your family, that's up to you. So the flexibility is there, the money is there. So yeah, so I actually, I've achieved those goals. And you guys, can see the flyer, the money Dr. Du put on the flyer, right? So the money is there, the flexibility, and the career growth. So I started as a GRC specialist, and now the other one, I'm a senior. It's the senior role. So the career path, yeah, is absolutely there. I mean, there's room for growth. There's always room for growth in cybersecurity. So absolutely.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I'll meet you in the back, okay? You keep saying the money is good, the money is good. When you're done.
Yeah, the money is good. So I want to motivate people. Sometimes you just have to motivate people to take that first step. So, and the only way to motivate them is telling them how good the money is, how flexible it is, and then how, the career goes. So, and that's what I keep telling people. It's so many jobs out there, and we all want everybody, to get into this field. Like it's crazy.
Yes. Eric, can you mute yourself? Dr. Edu, I'm trying to mute him, but it's not working.
I think everyone seems to be mute.
Okay, sorry. Yes, that's very true. What all that he's saying, yes, it's true. And it's amazing. Thank you, Michael. So lastly, everybody's here to hear you speak for the process. And I'm sure most people on here are trying to get to where you are. And that's the reason why they're here. And so what is your advice to these people that could have been anywhere else but chose to be here? Tell them what's on your mind in terms of advice and encouraging our people that this is actually possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first of all, thanks for making it to this meeting, and you're actually at the right place. And and if you are trying to switch your industries, and as Dr. Du say, most time when we speak, you can always Google stuff and then look at what are the trends, what are the fields that are making are creating the most jobs and are the most high paying ones. Cybersecurity is among one of those. So you can just go online and do your own research. So don't always take what we say. Don't always take for granted what we say for granted. So basically do your own research, and then from your research you can make your own conclusions. But from what I would say, this is the right field for for you if you are trying to switch. It's not easy, and that's one thing we have to know. And Dr. Du will tell you as well. It's not easy. It's not like you just come in and then start just do a little course or do a little studies and then get into a high-paying job. And as I said earlier on, it took a lot of sacrifice, right? So I did my course in a month, and Dr. Dua was actually projecting that course takes probably between 5 and 6 months, but I did it in a month. It took a lot of sacrifice. So you have to be willing to sacrifice a lot of your time, just making sure, if you decide to join the course or whatever course you do, make sure you're going to put your 100% in it. And once you get through that, the application process, I mean, it's sometimes I have to be talking to people. I did an internship with basically pushing them to apply for jobs. And that's what I always say. It's so many jobs out there and the money is so good, so there is hope. There is hope. So if you are here, there is hope. I came from a zero IT background and a zero cybersecurity background, and I was able to make it. So I just want to encourage everybody, each of everyone on this call, there is hope. You can go online yourself and see the amount of jobs. Even all this, so we currently have 105 people on the call, right? There's so many jobs. This 105 people, we can all be doing 3 jobs at a time if we want, and there's still going to be a lot of jobs out there, right? So I just want to encourage everybody, the way I did it is possible. I have done it. Other people who joined the course with me or who did the internship have made it as well. And we all came, from a zero background. So, you can see me speaking. I'm an African-born, African-bred, and I made it. So, encourage yourself, pick yourselves up. Wherever you are, you can make it as well. So, never back down. And one thing good about Eretmis is that once we get through and we get our jobs, we are still here, for whoever is trying to join, for whoever is trying to join this field, we are available, and we are always, willing to work you guys, help you guys work through the process, and so you guys can actually reach wherever you are, which might be flexibility, career growth, or the money. So whatever your plan is, you are the right place. And once you join this family, it's a big family. Right now, I could choose not to be on this call, but whenever Dr. Du, calls me and asks me, I'm always here because I want everybody to enjoy what some of us are currently enjoying. Because there is so much money out there, that's not enough for one person, to enjoy. So I just want to encourage everybody, just make sure when you decide to join, you're going to put your 100% effort in. Because if you join and you don't put any effort in, trust me, it's just going to be like you never joined, because nothing is going to change. So, but if you join, you decide to join, make sure you're going to put your 100% in. Once you put the effort in, the rest is going to follow. That's for sure. And I can guarantee you that. Put in the 100% effort, and the rest is going to follow.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Michael. I said this last week, and I want to, what happened? I said this and I want to repeat it. And Dr. Edu found you, Michael. You were caught
up. Okay, yeah, see, April 5th, 2022. Last year, April, yeah.
You have been caught on recording. Guys, this is a proof where Michael started.
Yeah, you can see it. Yeah. Straight up.
Dr. Edu.
Yeah. So so everything we are saying is not a cooked up story. There is proof to back it up. So,
no, this is how Michael started.
This is how I started. No prior experience, no background, zero cybersecurity background, zero IT background. This is how I started.
Yeah.
So
I'm having issues.
And these are some of my struggles Dr. Du is putting out there. These are some of my struggles Dr. Du is putting out there.
Yeah, good evening. I'm gonna steal just 1 minute because I'm rushing somewhere for a meeting.
Okay.
So I want to say thank you for invite on this platform. I was blessed to see Mike Lily in the same team at Eretmis. So how did I know Eretmis myself? I Googled, and that click that I was at work, and when I clicked, it gave me Eretmis. I was trying to take cybersecurity because my work really needs cybersecurity professionals. So what Mike has said, it's very good for everybody that I see here, 105 people, to take serious on it. I have a good job, I'm working, but the skills that I got from Eretmis gave me a plus. I travel everywhere. I have put my certificate in. When I send it from Eretmis, everybody said, wow, they've been trying to give me a job for incident response. I said, no, I'm good where I am. But at least I have a plan A and B. So when you take this course seriously, when you take Eretmis, whatever they have, it's very good that I encourage everybody to take advantage of this. This is not a joke. This is a very serious. So thank you very much. I rarely join this kind of platform, but today I don't know how I clicked and then I saw Mike and saw Dr. too. I said, I'm not going to miss it. I'm not going to miss it. And I'm so blessed for this 1 minute you gave me, guys. God bless you, Dr. Ado. And God bless you all.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. So you guys, you saw the messages that Michael was sending, right? From when he started, when he was having issues, he would send messages. And when he was going through the application process, he will send messages. So he was caught, but now you can see. Eretmis, I was going to say this, that I said this last week, and I want to say it again, that Eretmis platform, or the family that has been created, is been created for a lot of people with different backgrounds in terms of cybersecurity. As you can hear, some people may have gotten a knowledge from somewhere, they have taken a class somewhere, but they are lacking the hands-on. You can still join Eretmis. Somebody may have not had any background at all, like Michael and many of us. You can still join Eretmis. If you went to even college, but you have gotten to a point where you have graduated, but still cannot find a job because you lack that hands-on, you can still join Eretmis. Like, no matter the level of where you are, that is the family, or that is the platform that he has created, that everybody can still, no matter the level you are, he can still pick you up from there and bring you up to where you want to go to. That's what I wanted to say. So thank you, Michael. And thank you so much, everybody. I think, Dr. Edu, we can probably.
Thank you, Sheila. So still on Michael, I wanted just to play some of the audio. Michael is one of the very active students who be reaching out at 3 a.m. at like any time of the day, just asking about something. So we have like a lot of recording on Michael. I just wanted to play just a few. I mean, just to give some background, I was trying to just dig a little bit into Michael today, and we're able to come up with the screenshots that we got, right? So the Sheila, you can, once like that is done, it's just going to take like 5 minutes. We're not going to listen to all of it. There is a whole ton of it. But if Sheila will go through the questions we have in the chat, and then we open the floor for, I know a lot of folks would like to know how Michael is combining both two jobs, and like how he's working and how skills from one job is translating to the other and all that. But just to really put Michael on the spot again, we're just going to share this, and this is through WhatsApp web. So this is some of the audios that we forwarded from Michael. I think I have to reshare. If you don't share with the sound is not going to play. So yes.
Michael here. I hope you are. Yeah, hello, Dr. Edu. This is Michael here. I hope you are doing all right and you are doing fine. So I just wanted to let you know I got through the entry level course, so I am done with that. I want this thing so bad. I've been barely sleeping for the past weeks, and I got through that. So I'm currently working on the cybersecurity job placement assistance. And I had a question for you. So since I just started working on the cybersecurity job placement assistance course, would it be better for me to go ahead and get this course done whilst I'm working on getting ready for the Security Plus, since I'm probably thinking the Security Plus questions could help me with maybe future interviews, or eventually help me when I get any interviews. So I was just wondering, do you think it's a good strategy for me to go ahead and just get started with the cybersecurity job placement assistance course while I work on the Security Plus? Thank you, Dr. Edu. Yeah, I just received the practice test. And also, yeah, one other question I forgot to ask you earlier is, should I start working on my resume? Is that okay if I just, start working on the resume too? Would that be fine? Yeah, hello, Dr. Edo. Good afternoon. So this is Michael here, and I'm just, making this voicemail to let you know I have an scheduled appointment for the job. Actually, for the job I actually asked you the questions about yesterday. So I went ahead and talked to the lady from the lady from their HR, and they have me scheduled for an appointment for Friday at 3 p.m. I actually requested Friday, so I will have more time, to get ready for the interview, at least with your help. And so yes, so I've emailed you, or actually forwarded you the details of the job description and everything. So yeah, so I've sent you an email. So just let me know, and so we can just. Yeah, hello, Dr. Edu. Good morning. Yeah, so I just wanted to let you know the HR lady reached out to me and told me they actually interviewed one other person yesterday, and they decided to go with that person. Yeah, so my interview was supposed to be today, but I didn't get a chance to do the interview. So they were just letting me know they interviewed one other person. That was yesterday, and they decided to go with the other person. Yeah, so I don't know if I should have probably told them I was ready to have the interview on Thursday instead of today, but then I wasn't ready, so and confident enough. So, but after talking to you, I was ready and confident. But unfortunately, they said they gave the job to somebody who interviewed yesterday. So hopefully, other opportunities are going to come up, and when they come up, at least now I have talked to you and I have the confidence and the knowledge on on how to to respond to the questions and how to come up with some scenarios. So in that case, if I have some opportunities, then I can just go ahead and and then schedule the interviews without waiting for too long. So that's it. Yeah, hello, Dr. Edo. This is Mike. Mike over here, and I had a question for you. So for the cybersecurity workshop slash internship, for those of us in the level one enrolled in the level one course, did we have to sign up or? Yeah, and sorry, let me just make a quick correction. I know the internship starts on. Yeah, hello, Dr. Edu. Yeah, thank you so much for reposting this information. Yeah, unfortunately, for some. Yeah, hello, Dr. Edo. Yeah, I hope you are doing well. Yeah, and I wanted to apologize for disrupting our meeting yesterday.
So there is a whole list, right? I think like the audio, we can probably play it all day. Like once that Mike is talking about how they moved on with somebody else, and there's like a whole list of those ones, and ones that is just making general inquiries, and then if I could, like, we could just link the actual like WhatsApp, you see like the whole process, by date and by time. So yes, Michael did go through the process. Really, there is no shortcut when it comes to this process, right? You have to be ready to put in the work, and it is going to pay off, right? So at the time when they moved on with somebody else, and Michael didn't even have one job, probably he was still, like, asking himself, like, is this even possible? Like, will I be able to get there? Now he's there, he has two jobs, right? Somebody else is sitting on the side talking about, can I get to where Michael is? Most definitely you can, if you put in the work, right? And if persistence, right? If you stay with it, just stay with it. Don't quit. If Michael, after 2-3 interviews, was like, you know what, I'm just going to go back to what I'm used to and stay in my comfort zone, he wouldn't be here today, right? Almost a quarter of a million. I don't think, even if you are like a full-blown surgeon with 10 years of experience, you'll be making that money just just off the bat, right? So that is good money, but it doesn't come easy. You have to put in the work, and it's possible. I mean, I think somebody was asking about Michael didn't even do PCI or anything. It's just normal cybersecurity entry-level course. Got a job, did the internship, got a job, was playing around because Michael takes some of the things that I say more seriously than others. I keep telling everybody, or even if you have a job already, to stay current in the industry, just interview for fun, right? Just interview for fun. Apply for jobs, just do the interviews. If they offer, like if they give you an offer, I think if Kenny is here, Kenny can speak to this. So Kenny did apply for one job. He got the job, right? Did it for a weekend. He's like, I don't think like the job was too demanding. So he just told them, hey, I'm sorry. I cannot go on with it, right? And they were fine with it, right? So with Michael's, he reached out. I told him to reach out back to the hiring manager or like whoever he was talking to, just to not to let him know, hey, this is what you want to do, but to pick his brain on their organizational culture, how many times they have meetings, right? And compare that to what you are doing to like now, right? You don't just pick up or stack up 2 or 3 jobs just because you can, because now you'll be running. The last thing you want to do is a company is paying you 100 plus and you are inefficient in whatever you are doing, right? Morally, for me, it is not right. Integrity-wise, it is not right. You have to put in 120%, give them more than they are paying you for, and you can sleep at night, right? So you have to make sure if you want to combine jobs, jobs that are similar, if they are both remote, like Michael's right now, in one job, he has a manager. In another job, he's the manager. So he controls his time in that job. So he's more flexible and is very doable, right, in both. So you don't want to pick a job where this company they just love meetings. They meet for meeting, just meeting sake. Not to discuss anything, but just to meet and look at everybody's face and smile, right? If you are in such a company, you don't want to also get into another company who loves more meetings than your first company, right? In that instance, then you have a lot of conflict and you are just buying yourself, stress and just pressure, right? So when it comes to combining jobs, you have to make sure that, they are both a good fit, right? So kudos to Michael. Within a year, almost a year, right? You've been able to pull this off. It doesn't come easy. Like Michael was saying, a lot of sleepless nights. So if you put in the sacrifice, you put in the hard work, your job is waiting for you, right? Finding jobs in this space is like finding a soulmate for life. There's somebody there who is yours, who is dying to have you. So there's a company who is dying to have you. So if you go to one interview and they are like, no, you are not it, no hard feelings, just move on to the other one. Just move on to the other one, right? You get to a company, everybody from the first interview to the last interview, they will still be talking about you, right? So well done, Michael. We are going to open the floor, but I think Sheila is going to go through the questions in the chat, and then Michael can take the questions from there. Okay. Go ahead.
Yes. Fred wanted you to tell us your position, your title again.
So GRC specialist for one, and senior information security analyst for the other.
Okay, thank you. Robert wants to know if you did have any IT certificate prior to starting or after the Eretmis class.
Yeah, so for the first job, no, I didn't have any IT certification. But then once I joined the company, I did go ahead and took the security class. And for the second one, they didn't ask me about any certification. So, but I do have security class.
Okay, thank you. Linda J wants to know, she said, Michael, at what level of the modules did you feel you were getting it or things started to make sense? There are 10 modules.
Oh, that's a good question. To be honest, I don't remember, what was in what model and what model. I don't remember the topics in the model. I mean, it's been a year, yeah. So yeah, it's going to be a difficult question to answer, yeah, because I can't remember or recall what topic was in what model and what wasn't in which model. So okay. I'll have to get back to her on that question, yeah.
Okay. And then Linda again wants to know, how would you rate the entry level course in terms of difficulty? Would you say it's very difficult, somewhat, or not at all?
Yeah, it's difficult because if you're coming from a background where you don't have any prior experience, then yes, it's going to be difficult. But from the way it's broken down by Dr. Edo, once you start from the lesser or from like the less demanding models, and then it's going to build you up little by little. So you just you're building out from model to model. So yeah, but absolutely. If you come from a no background in IT or cybersecurity, then yeah, absolutely, it's difficult. So yeah, it will be.
And then Linda again, she also wants to know the Excel functions that you use in your daily work currently.
Yeah, so absolutely. So, knowing how to filter, so duplicating, knowing some of the Excel's form. So Excel, there is always a shortcut, using the formulas to make your life easier and to make your work, faster. So, and they have like a lot of YouTube, channels that actually have courses on Excel, which are free. So, in your free time, you can always go on, but like, knowing how to filter, knowing how to, create, tables, how to compare graphs and all that, I would say those are some of the functions you might want to, be able to manage in Excel.
Thank you. Frank wants to know, so Dr. Edu also does a training in PCI DSS or emphasis in PCI DSS. Does any of your jobs has anything to do with PCI DSS, or do you have any PCI DSS tasks that you perform?
Yeah, so for GRC analysts, so I think if Dr. Du might correct me if I'm wrong, but PCI falls under GRC, right? But PCI is a specialization, right? But one thing about our company is PCI is we have a third party actually managing our PCI. So we are the internal, the GRC department, which is just myself and my manager. We are more focused on the HIPAA and the SOX compliance. But PCI is outsourced, so we have a third party that manages our PCI for us. So I don't do anything related to PCI, but even though PCI still falls under GRC.
Okay, thank you. Audrey wants to know, how was the negotiation of your salary? How was it like for each job that you went for?
Yeah, so the first one, yeah, it was the first one, so I didn't really stress a lot on the on the salary, so it wasn't really a lot of back and forth. But on the second one, so on the second one, after I saw that, okay, these guys just come like immediately the day after to offer me the job, it means like they want me so bad, right? So I had more, like a leg room to, to negotiate. So I made sure, I could get the maximum I could get for myself for the second one. But the first one, it was just getting my feet wet, but it's still, about 6 figures. So, hey, it's still great. But the second one, I just made sure I push it, way ahead compared to what the initial offer was.
Okay, good. Abayomi, I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. He was asking the name, what is the company and which company sold the first? I'm wondering if he wants to know what the companies are.
I'm still working there, so I'm still working for both. But the first one is Gentiva, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Gentiva Health Services.
I don't have any certificate. So do you have any certificate right now, or do they require any certificate right now in your position?
No, none of the jobs require.
That is from Fred.
None of the jobs require certificates, but I do have Security Plus, which I took after the first job. So the first job in the interview, they didn't ask me about no certifications. My manager says he doesn't care about no certifications. The second one, same thing. They didn't ask me about it. They didn't care about it. So, if you have a certification, it's good. But for like the second one, the way I was able to speak to the things I was actually doing, that's what, I'm taking gave me the job. So they wasn't looking at what certification I had and what certification I didn't have. So it was more based on, the fact that I could actually do the work. So.
Okay. And Oluyomi is asking, he said, I personally love the idea of 2 to 3 jobs, honestly, but I want to find out of working 2 to 3 jobs is wrong ethically in cybersecurity or not. So I think he wants to know if it is wrong. I don't think.
Yeah, so to that question, I would say if you can find 2 companies that have no conflict. So let's say like, okay, if you work for like 2 healthcare companies that are like are in competition with one another, then, in that case, I would say, okay, then maybe that's a conflict of interest, right? Because you can work for two companies that have the same interest. So, but like I'm thinking about, well, personally, I believe, I don't know if Dr. will agree, or if anybody on the call will agree to that, but if the companies are like in two different industries, then I think that should be fine. If you are able to manage both, then that's that's okay. So yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah,
Shay, go ahead. Sorry.
Sheila, like I also want to add to that. So yes, obviously you don't have to work for Coca-Cola and Pepsi at the same time. I mean, that is an obvious giveaway, right? But if you are working two jobs, from my, like, if maybe you are working for Adidas or Nike and you are working for Coca-Cola, I mean, they don't really have any conflict of interest, right? They are not chasing the same thing. But the two jobs, they will stand to benefit. Example, in Michael's case, whatever he has acquired in terms of knowledge and skill here, he's transferring to this company and they are benefiting from it, right? Whatever he's learning from here, he's transferring to that company and they are benefiting, right? But my personal opinion is that you have to make sure you are giving 120% in both jobs. So if you want to stack up jobs, you are not stacking them up to do 50%, you know, if you have to do 100%. So if you think you are going to be inefficient, please don't do it, right? Because now you are going to be, your focus is going to be divided. And that is also the reason why you should pick, if you want to do two jobs, pick two jobs that are very similar, right? So if you are a PCI DSS specialist here and you want to be a PCI DSS manager here, like it is very good because it works well for you. Everything that you are doing here applies to that side. So you are not really stretching yourself too thin. And two, don't work for Pepsi and Coca-Cola at the same time. They'll kill you if they find out.
Yeah. Sheikh wants to know, do you use two computers for the two jobs? I know some of these tools can take a lot of space.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So both provided with their laptops and screens. So yeah, so I have like my office set up at home, and then yeah, so I have one station for one and one station, you know, for the other. So yeah.
Sheikh's second question is funny. He said, so when you were interviewing for the second job, how did you answer the question of why are you leaving your current job? That's funny.
Yeah, so I mean, I just told them, you know, my company has decided to go fully on site. It used to be remote during the pandemic, so decided to go, you know, fully on site. And then my son was born during that period of time, so I enjoy, you know, spending time with my family. So I just want to maintain that work-life balance, you know, and that flexibility. So that's the answer I gave them, and they were okay with it. So I think Sheila went off.
Yeah, that is a good answer, right? I mean, when they ask you, so here you are kind of towing the fine line. You are not necessarily lying, and you're not going to tell them I have two jobs already, and I want to add yours as a third job, right? Because like nobody wants to be the second in anything, right? And mostly for companies, they want your undivided attention, right? So you just have to tell them. So if they ask you, why are you leaving your current job? What if you have two current jobs and you're leaving one to go pick the other, right? So like how you go about that really depends on you. But yeah. My opinion is make sure you be able to do both jobs efficiently. Like that is pretty much it. All right, so I'm going to hand it over back to Sheila.
Thank you. Thank you. Yao said, can you please share that? Oh, yeah, Dr. Can we put the link of Eretmis in? He says, well, can you share the link to join Eretmis WhatsApp group? Yao wants that.
Yeah, so that will be posted as we are moving forward. So we have a WhatsApp group where we post cybersecurity stuff on there. It's a pretty quiet and loud group when it comes to cybersecurity. So we only entertain cybersecurity or IT related stuff on there. The link will be posted so you can join and be part of the family.
Thank you. Jermaine is asking, information security analyst and IT security analyst, what is the difference?
I mean, probably that would be a question for Dr. Edu, but I'm thinking it's probably the same thing, Dr. Edu, but I'm not sure if Dr. Edu agrees with my answer, but I'm not sure about that. Yeah, I'm a cybersecurity person, and I know what my role entails, but I don't know if IT, security analyst is the same as information security analyst. But I'm assuming they probably do the same. They have the same job description. But I'm not sure if Dr. Do wants to come into this one.
Yeah. So mostly is wording. I mean, they are all separate. Like when we look at it academically, they are separate things. But bad habit, we kind of interchange all of it. So example, IT, information security, we kind of interchange that with cybersecurity, but it's not really the same thing, right? But they kind of are in the same family. IT security will cover everything IT, not just information, right? So, but we find ourselves in the bad habit of saying, information security is equal to IT security is equal to cybersecurity, right? So they are all separate. So when we talk about IT, everything included, everything inclusive, right? Information security just will focus on information and information systems. Cyber will focus on everything within the cyberspace, right? So if you look at it kind of on like hierarchy, IT security will be higher, followed by information security, followed by cybersecurity. But bad practice, we kind of put one for the other, right? So, but when it comes to job descriptions, information security and IT security, they kind of will interchange them. You are pretty much probably going to be doing the same thing within those job titles.
Thank you. Thank you. Boy, Audrey, he said, do you leverage your company's policy templates in policy development, or do you review, or you have to create a template your own?
Yeah, so currently my company, we actually they already had, their policies in place before I joined. So for now on the policies, what I do is I just review it and, and then reach out to, so like, the policies, we have the technical parts of the policies. So like the technical aspect, I have to reach out to whoever is in the company who actually, is the owner of those, of those technical parts. So then maybe reach out to them. Maybe like, let's say encryption, we do have folks in the company who are like the experts in encryption. So just make sure the policy is up to date and is current and relevant, right? So then I don't have to like create policies from scratch. So I do review the policies, I do edit them, and then just make sure they are relevant and then they have the right stuff in it, and then submit it for approval. And so in that case, when I submit it, my manager and then the CISO have to approve it. And once they approve it, it becomes the policy for the company. So yeah, so to his question, I don't have to create policies from scratch because we already have those policies in place. All I do is just edit and then add stuffs or take stuffs out. That's all I do in the policies.
Okay. Okay. Jamel is asking if you're able to do both jobs efficiently in 40 hours a week.
Absolutely. And as I said, it's the same thing. Even though they have like two different job titles, it's actually the same thing. Like when you compare the job descriptions, I'm doing the same thing. The only difference is one has a set of tools and the other has like, another different set of tools. So that's the only difference, but everything is 100% the same.
Okay. And Alan wants to know what was your biggest challenge at the first job?
My biggest challenge, normally I'll probably say initially was the lack of courage, because you are scared, right? It's not something you've ever done before, but then it's something you have to get that hump, right? It's something you have to get over. So initially I would say probably I was a little bit intimidated, right? Because when I get in the company, you'll be taught, you see some people in some positions and you think like, oh man, like let me just keep quiet and let me not speak, right? Because maybe I don't think I know enough, right? But then once they start opening their mouth and they start speaking, like, oh man, Dr. Du has given me so much. I even think I know more than these people, right? So initially it was the fear of, not knowing, not having the knowledge to be in that position. But then once, you start talking to people from the training you get from Eretmis, oh man, like this training actually prepares you, to be able to face whatever is coming your way. At least it gives you the basis and prepares you. So then later you have to do your own work and prepare yourself and keep, studying and updating yourself. And as I said earlier, don't stay stagnant, just keep moving and just keep learning.
Okay, thank you. Bayamon, the question, and where did it go? Okay, yeah, he was asking about the internet service providers. So using the same internet, he said, do you use separate internet service provider for the companies, or are you using the same internet service provider that you have at home for both companies? And are they not going to find out since you're using the same network to work for two companies? I'm not sure.
I mean, I don't know. That's a technical question. I don't think there is a way. I mean, the probably could do has to answer this, but I'm not sure they can get on my personal, home network to see, what my traffic is. I don't think they have that ability. But I think Dr. Du probably is the best person to answer this question.
Just use a VPN.
Well, so okay, so let me say my work actually they both have VPNs, right? So like one work computer has a VPN, so I have to log on that VPN in order to use the computer, and the other one has a VPN as well. So I don't think there's a way for them to get on my network, to find out. So
question is answered. Right, Dr. Du?
Yeah, so I don't think like that is even a problem, right? Internet is internet. So regardless, I don't think like any both companies bought their own routers or they gave you an internet service provider to use, right? So they expect you to use your own internet at home. So I mean, I don't think that should be a problem. The only problem will be if you don't have enough bandwidth and your internet is very slow, then you're going to be inefficient at work. But if you have really fast or decently fast internet, you should be good, right? Internet shouldn't be of any conflict of any sort.
Okay. Kenny. Hi, Kenny. Kenny wants to know, was there a difference in the okay, so let me read it. He says, thank you for your testimony, Mike. In the jobs that you got your offer, was there a difference in the flow of conversation with the interviewer than the jobs you did not get an offer for? Also, was there a big difference in the question that you were asked for the job you got offered compared to the ones you did not get the offer? And did you fail the interviews you got the job for offered? He says what? And did you feel
that's a long question.
That's a long question. Okay, start from the top. Take your time. First, he wants to know if there was a difference between the one that you didn't get the offer and then the one that you actually got an offer. Was there a big difference in the questions?
Yeah, sometimes, no, not per se, because I was, so I know Dr. Du was saying, just apply for, any cybersecurity or information security jobs out there. But I actually, wanted to go something towards more the GRC expert. So I was applying more for GRC jobs. So like the interviews were more about the same. At the end of the day, GRC, is almost the same, in every company. There's not really that much difference. So like from interview, there wasn't that big differences from interview. Yeah.
Okay. And then he's wondering, so the one that you actually got a job offer, did you feel like during the interview you were more confident you were confident, and that is probably why you got the job in terms of your security knowledge base on the search experience?
Yeah, so for the first one, actually, after my manager hired me, he told me like the difference, what he liked about me was the passion, I had when speaking about, the job. So yeah, so I said that was the difference. So that was the passion I showed. On the second one, it was just the knowledge, because it's something I've been doing for the past 8 months. So, and I actually was explaining to them, and I was even actually explaining to them how I could help, improve, their risk management program by transferring what I've learned from the previous one to, to the new place. So I think that's what made the difference, in the second one.
Thank you. Angel is asking about tax. So now you're in a different tax bracket. So he's wondering how you are setting up your yearly income tax. Are you able to have the company hire you if you create your company to have tax advantage?
So I'm lucky my wife is an accountant by profession, so I leave
Nice.
all the taxi stuff to her, so I don't have to worry about that. Yeah, she's
Amazing.
an accountant and finance person, so yeah. So
Okay. It says, what was your average duration of each year of each of your interviews? Oh, so
okay,
yeah.
okay. So for the first one, the interview was about 30 minutes with the hiring manager, and then and that was it. So I had a first interview for 30 minutes for the hiring manager, and then he told me, well, he liked me so much, so he wanted me to schedule right away and speak to his manager, because at the end of the day, his manager was the one who was going to make the decision. So they scheduled me the following day with the manager, and it was about like probably 15 minutes, just soft skills question. Because he's a project manager, so he doesn't have the technical knowledge about information security and cybersecurity. So he was just picking my brains on how I'm going to react to some conditions. He was just throwing like not personal questions, but like the personal skills, like the soft skills, let me say. Yeah. So it was like everything about soft skills, and that lasted for like 15 minutes the day after I spoke to my hiring manager, and then after that interview with the hiring manager, excuse me, like I think 10 minutes or whatever, the recruiter called me back and told me, hey, they wanted to join the team. So that was for the first one. For the second one, actually, the interview lasted for about like an hour, and then after the interview, the manager and the manager's manager were like, normally they do interviews, and it doesn't even take like 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, they're ready to get it. But like with me, they were just talking and talking. We were just talking and talking, because as I said earlier, most of the things I already did. Those are things I've been doing, right? So I was able to speak to it, giving like multiple examples, telling them how I could help their program. So we talked even like over an hour, basically. And he was surprised. He was like, this was actually his first time where he had like an interview where it lasted like over an hour. So yeah, so like the first work, it was about 30 minutes and then 15 minutes. The second job was just one interview. After the one interview, they just get me the offer. So
great. There was I think it was Brian. Brian had his hands up for so long. I'm so sorry. Are you still there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, I can hear you, Brian.
Mike, you mentioned something about SOC compliance, and I think you were saying the SOX. And sorry about that, my GPS went off. But is it true that you have to have your CPA to do the SOX compliance, or are you just helping with the compliance and someone else is a CPA that's there?
Yes, so you as a GRC specialist, you are not in charge. So basically, we do have an internal auditor, and the internal auditor is a CPA. So my role with the SOX, I have two roles, right? So number one, I'm the person in charge of designing the control, the IT control for that, designing the control, and I do that through our GRC tool, which is Zen GRC. So I design the control, and then we have three roles, right? We have the assignee, we have the internal, the reviewer, which is the internal auditor, and then we have the verifier, right? So my role is the person who actually creates the IT control, and then I'm the verifier. So when I create the control, the IT person, it could be an IT engineer or like a cybersecurity engineer, whoever it is the person who has to upload the evidence, right? That shows that control is being in place. So that person is the assignee, and then we have the reviewer, which is actually the auditor. And yes, he has to have a CPA for SOX. So he does have a CPA for that. And my role as the GRC analyst is the verifier. So I come in. So basically, I have to make sure the assignee provided the evidence for that control, and that the auditor actually went in and control what the assignee did, and to make sure, the control is actually in place and it's actually doing what it's meant to do. So then once I verify all those steps, I'm the person who actually closes that IT control and then gives the okay in the GRC tool, just to let people know, yeah, this IT control is basically doing what it's supposed to do. Yeah. So for SOX, you definitely need an auditor, and the auditor has to be a CPA certified. So I'm not sure if that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Brian. Malachi is asking, so to stay current in your field, how much time do you invest to study and researching?
Man. So yeah, that's a good question. That's why I always say, Eretmis is the right place you want to be, because every Friday we have our cyber chats, right? So because like most places, well, as I said earlier, you take the course and it's over, right? Once you take your course, you are done. There is no cyber chat, there is no meeting. I mean, you're on your own. Go find a job and do whatever you want to do with your life, right? But like whenever Dr. Du has his cyber chat on Fridays, I'm always on, even though, and I mean, I probably can say, no, I don't want to attend, but yeah, I don't care. Even if I have 1 or 2 or 3 jobs, I still make sure, I attend the meeting. So I learn a lot from that. I always make sure, I watch Dr. Du's videos on YouTube, and also watch, some good quality cybersecurity videos. And I also try to read a lot and, online and stay current. And we have like some good cybersecurity magazines on our website, or podcasts online sometimes on my free, time I try to listen to, just to stay current in the field, and that's one thing you always want to, keep moving, don't stay stagnant, always, keep moving and keep trying to update yourself, to the current state of things. So, yeah.
That's very true. And then his second question was, he says, do either of your companies put pressure on you to stay current in your current field? If so,
no,
how much?
Absolutely not. No, that's something I take on my own, because I know where I want to be. So because one day we always trying to gather, whether it's the executive level, whatever it is, you always have to put the work in. So nobody puts pressure on me, but it's just up to me to update myself and make sure I'm keeping myself current with the current trends. So yeah.
Angel is asking, how are you setting up your hold on a minute.
The tax question again?
Yeah, I think we talked about that one already. Brian. All right. And then, how do you manage family responsibility in your 2 jobs?
Yeah, and I mean that's what I'm saying. So sometimes it's flexible. So I work Monday through Friday remotely for both, and so how do I? So like on the weekends, I don't have to like stress myself. I just make sure all my work for both are done during the week, so that way I have my the weekends to spend with my family. More or less, my wife works during the week as well, and my son is at a daycare during the week. So it's not like there's like any family time, but like everything I have to do before my son gets back from school, or my wife's is done with her work, I make sure everything is done within my working hours, so that way I have like the evening to spend with my family, and then I'll have my weekends off. Unless sometimes I want to be a little lazy during the week, then I can always catch up on the weekends. So it's up to you. At the end of the day, Dr. Du says big boy, big girl pants, so it's up to you. You can manage your schedule accordingly to to fit your family's needs. So it's up to you. So once you get a full remote job, it's up to you. They're not going to stress. They're not going to tell you you have to work this hours to this hours. Nobody cares. Sometimes after my sons go to bed, I'm around 8:30, I'll just get back on my computer and then make sure I catch up with some things, some assignments. So it's up to you. There's not a predetermined hours you have to work. You just work around your schedule to fit your needs. Just make sure the work is done. That's all. Just make sure the work is done.
Okay. Brian, do you have another question? I see your hand is up again.
Yes,
okay,
absolutely.
Go ahead, please.
Really a statement. I was going to say, yes, it sounds amazing to have 2 jobs. I just want to talk to everyone on here, and it's great. But just to give you examples, 2 jobs that you wouldn't want to have 2 jobs in the field of being like a cybersecurity analyst. And the reason I say that is because your eyes have to be on that screen constantly. And when you get an alert, you have to be on your feet of what you do with that alert, what you do with that incident that came in. So you wouldn't be able to focus on 2 jobs doing like cybersecurity analyst. Now, when you're talking about GRC, or if you're talking about risk management, those are like a commercial break that maybe you can get 2 jobs to do that because your eyes are not always on the screen constantly on those, because you're more dealing with sometimes just projects. Like they'll just give you a project to work on that day. And then if you get it finished early, then you can, you know, probably get to your other job. But if you're like an analyst, so doing just like cybersecurity analyst, and you're getting like reports and incidents, like let's just say you're using like a SIM or Splunk or something like that, your eyes have to be constantly on that screen taking care of those alerts. So yes, it sounds good to have two jobs, but you have to make sure that whatever field you're in, just like Dr. Dewey said, you have to give 120% or more.
Yeah, and Brian makes a perfect point. That's the reason why I went more towards GRC, right? It's more project based, it's more flexible. You don't have to constantly be on your screen. So yeah, so that's a good point. Great point. Right.
Thank you. I think you said this before, but Robert is asking, are the jobs out of state or in state?
So one is in state. So I'm actually, I live in Atlanta, Georgia. So my first one is in Atlanta. Your headquarters is in Atlanta, Georgia, but it's fully remote. So like my managers like in Indiana. Our CISO is somewhere else, like in a different state. So, you know, yeah. And the second one is out of state. Yeah.
Okay. And Robert is asking, Christabel. Christabel was asking, did you do self-studies on the GRC after the cybersecurity class with Dr. Edu?
And that's what I was saying earlier. So the GRC actually is covered in the so whatever you do in the internship, right, falls under GRC. So I didn't have to do no self-study, like nothing. Whatever helped me get that job was all the training courses I took through Eretmis. So entry-level course, and then the internship. So the internship, GRC, and as I said earlier, you know, you do risk management, you do policies, third-party risk management. So yeah, so all our things I did actually in the internship course. So I didn't have to do any self-study.
Okay. And Robert is asking, what is your highest level of education? Do you have any college degree? If so, what program?
Yes, so I do have a bachelor's in biology and I have a master's in healthcare administration.
Okay.
Yeah, but mind you, for both jobs, nobody asked me about any degrees, so they didn't really care if I had a degree or not. They didn't ask me about no degrees or no certifications, you know. So just let me know whether you have a college degree or not. Don't let that be a limitation, right? Like this field, it's so many jobs out there. They just want to make sure you guys, you know, you have the fundamentals and the skills to be able to do the job. Nobody's going to care if you have a college degree or you have, you know, whatever you have. I mean, just have the fundamentals and the basis. So.
Okay, thank you. And Jonathan is asking, how did you know about jobs? How did you know what jobs to apply for with no experience or certificate?
Then that's why I always go back to Eretmis, right? Eretmis is going to help you, is going to walk you through the process. So from the entry-level course to the internship, I understood the area I wanted to go towards was GRC, right? Or GRC, and risk management falls under GRC. So that's how I understood what area of cybersecurity I wanted to be in. So like, and being able to understand that, I was able to do that through, you know, the training I got from Eretmis and then with the internship. And I actually did enjoy, you know, the internship. So after the internship, I told myself, during the internship, I told myself, this is what I actually want to do. So I wanted to go towards more the GRC. So I wasn't interested in being a cybersecurity engineer or cybersecurity analyst or anything. All I wanted to do was just something that's risk management. So something GRC.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. How did you? Okay. It says, thank you for the response. Okay, Christabel. Vincent, is there another way to reach Dr. Edu? Because those of us in the PCI class do not get the kind of mentorship, which perhaps is the most important part of the program. We sent emails and texts, set appointment and never get a response. Dr. Edu, this is for you, an attack.
So what I'll say is, I don't know what Vincent is talking about because I've spoken to Vincent a couple of times. So I'm really kind of lost. If anybody else in the PCI class wants to, maybe if they are experiencing the same thing, But on the website, on a more serious note, on the website, you can always make an appointment to do Zoom one-on-one with me, right? So if you make an appointment and you are like, hey, Dr. Edu, can we talk at 2 p.m.? You just send an email like that, and that is really not an appointment, right? If you go to our calendar and you choose a time and date, we will get to you when it's time for us to talk, right? So it's not just on the fly when you feel like talking, you just reach out and everything have to cease and we talk to you. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. So with like the back and forth with Michael that you saw, for mentorship, everybody gets mentorship, but if you don't ask for it, we do the general kind of mentorship in class. But if once you are done, and with Vincent, he just started a course, right? So some people, when they are, let's say maybe 2 weeks into the course, they want to start applying for jobs. And they want like your full undivided attention. Job placement is at the end of the training, right? So if we do a courtesy of helping you with resumes and stuff, like when you are like 3 weeks into it, you are not there yet. So we can choose to not to do anything on job placement until you are done with the course, frankly, right? But we take that time out of our time to cater for that. But job placement is supposed to be a collective thing that we do for the whole entire group, right? And then one-on-one when it comes to that. But if you really want to speak to Dr. Edu one-on-one, I mean, on the website is there. You can make an appointment all day. Choose the time and date that best suits you, that best suits us on the calendar, and we'll be able to talk to you, right? So not just maybe sending a text message and saying, let's talk at 3 p.m. It doesn't really work that way, right? So maybe that is what Vincent is talking about. Either than that, maybe probably he can clarify with more specifics.
Thank you. Okay. Jasmine is asking, is GRC and risk management the same thing? If not, what difference do they have?
Yeah, risk management falls under GRC. Yeah, so risk management, so risk management is everything related to risk for the company. So under risk management, we have third-party risk management. So basically, making sure if you have an onboarding vendor coming on board, right? Just have to make sure their security program is actually in place, and then just making sure their security posture meets the standards of your company. So third-party risk management falls under risk management. Risk register falls under risk management. Policy exceptions, vulnerability exceptions, all those falls under risk management. And risk management as a whole is under GRC. So for cybersecurity, for a company, GRC is in charge of risk management.
Okay. I think that's all the questions we have in the chat. If anybody have any more questions, you can let us know. But Dr. Edu, that's all the questions I have in the chat.
I think Isaac has
Can I just add something?
Yes, please. Go ahead, Isaac.
Hello, everyone. Michael, thank you so much for your submission. And you mentioned something that that reminded me of my same position that I'm in. I went through the academy all the way from the entry level all the way to the end, to the job placement and all that. I managed to get a job, but every Friday I'm online for the cyber chat. So as Sheila mentioned, this family is a continuous thing, and every day is a learning experience. You can never know what you're gonna learn. And this evening, I've definitely learned a lot from you, Michael. So I'm all about networking. And can I have you? Can we have your LinkedIn? And we connect, because I'm in the same predicament. I'm on the East Coast, and I've been trying to find a second gig on PST Mountain Time, or even on the West Coast, but not yet, because as someone mentioned, was it Brian? I'm a cybersecurity analyst, always on the screens. It's pretty difficult trying to get another gig where I have to look at 4 other screens. So anyway, if we can just connect and we talk more,
Yeah, absolutely.
You can advise me.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
I will leave my number in the chat, so whoever feels they need to reach out, you can always reach out. I'm always available, so yeah, that's fine.
Thank you. I appreciate
Yep.
it.
Wow, I've been talking in the air. Sorry. Thank you, Isaac. And thank you, Michael. Yes, you promised that. So please put it in the chat because
Yeah, I am.
Jason, sorry, is also asking how they want to get in contact with you. I'm watching live via YouTube. Leonard said he's watching live in YouTube. And I posted a question there. Huh. Dr. Edu, are you able to see a question in YouTube? I'm not able to see that.
Leonard, do you want to pose the question here?
We're looking at some of the questions, but for some reason they keep disappearing. Yes, he's asking how many years of experience did you mention during your interview? And then also, I think that was it.
Okay, so the first one I put.
And Nana Poku on here
okay.
was asking, what is your name on LinkedIn? So you can put your LinkedIn up. So they want your name on LinkedIn. That way they can look you up and link up. So for your interview, how many years of experience did they ask you for your years of experience? That is what Leon is asking.
So on the resume, I had 3 years, but they didn't ask me, about how many years of experience I had. All they wanted to know if I actually, know how to do all the things I had listed on the resume. So basically, and I was able to speak to all the things I had on my resume. So that's what actually, gave me. I mean, I'm thinking helped me, get a job. But during the interview, they didn't ask me about how many years I had, but I had listed 3 years on my resume. Yeah. And for the LinkedIn, I actually haven't set up a LinkedIn account. So yeah. So unfortunately, I don't have a LinkedIn account to share.
I think that's.
Sheila, you're mute.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Kids were screaming.
Okay.
Jermaine, I think Jermaine has a question. If you can go ahead, please.
Hello, everyone. It's not actually a question. Somebody asked a question about SOX or compliance audit, and somebody in the group was saying, do you need to have a CPA? I just want to say that if you are internal auditor, because my brother is internal auditor, and most of his job is around SOX compliant audit, and he just has a CISA certificate. So you don't actually need to be a CPA. As far as I know, for internal auditor, I mean, you are there to make sure that everything is in place before an external auditor from those big four, they came in and, complete their job. So you don't actually need CPA to be able to be an internal auditor, to be able to to perform IT general, to be able to perform SOX compliance audit. I just want to add that to that. Thank you.
Okay, so real quick, Jermaine, are we talking about SOX or SOC?
Yeah. SOX, Saban Oxley.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Shala, you can go ahead.
Okay, Kevin, I think Jermaine, you're done, right? Kevin, you can go ahead and speak, please.
Oh. Okay. Oh yeah, thank you, Sheila.
You're welcome.
And and I want to thank Dr. Edu too for bringing Michael Yebua on. Yeah, I also took part in the cybersecurity course. And yeah, some of us are still on the job hunting. So I just wanted to like quickly ask Michael, you know, which websites did he actually go to apply for this job? I mean, the GRC jobs. I don't know if he went to LinkedIn or Indeed or where. No, if you can let some of us know which websites or where to go to specifically to apply for some of these jobs. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So for both, mainly I used Indeed. Yeah, that's all I used, mainly Indeed.
Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. But I'll personally call Michael and talk to him.
Okay, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. I think that's all the questions we have.
All right, so we are about to wrap it up. Appreciate everybody's time. We are almost at 9, so 2 hours into this. Appreciate your time and your insights, Michael. Very helpful. I mean, we do these sessions just to walk people through the whole entire process, and also even for those who are working on the job, like Isaac. Isaac just asked the question. This is Isaac's second gig, but he went out of the first job and then he has a second job. So everybody, there is something for everybody to learn from, right? That is why we do this. And then also as a form of encouragement, to help encourage everybody. Kevin was in the same internship group with Michael, right? Kevin is still looking for a job. Michael has 2 jobs, right? So, I mean, they can always link up, you know, at least get some few pointers from him. And then also to let you know that if Michael did it, it's very doable. But for like Kevin, I'm going to ask, just put him on the spot. How many jobs did you apply for last week, Kevin?
You're in trouble.
Actually, I've applied for about 2 jobs last week, and I did 3 this week.
Man, Kevin, I was applying for like 25 for my first job. I was applying like for 25 jobs a day.
Yeah.
I was averaging 20 a day.
So yeah, Isaac was doing 20 a day. Yeah.
It's a game of numbers, right? So for everybody who think it's taking too long for them to get a job, I can tell you for a fact, it's a game of numbers. So the more jobs you apply for, the more interviews you get, the closer you are to landing your first or second or third cybersecurity job, right? So sometimes people talk so bitterly, it's so hard to get a job in this industry. You ask them, how many jobs did you apply for last week? And they start smiling, like 1, you know, 2, right? You know, so for anybody on here who got a job, unless maybe probably with the exception of Sheila, everybody did like 30 applications in a week, right? And out of that, at least you are guaranteed 5 interviews. And out of the 5, if you do 5 interviews for a month, you're going to get a job, at least 1 out of it, right? So just for everybody, just keep pushing. In the job placement assistant portion of the training, we show you the tricks of, you know, applying for even like 20 jobs within like less than 10 minutes, right? So it's not like you have to spend your whole day applying for jobs. There are ways around it, right? So I appreciate everybody's time. Thank you very much for joining us this Friday night. And before we wrap up, okay, go ahead, Sheila.
There was somebody that was asking, when is the next internship starting?
Oh, it's going to be starting in June.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, in June. Yes.
That's
so. Thank you, Sheila. Always a great co-pilot.
Thank you, Sheila.
Michael, I really appreciate your time, and congratulations once again to making all of us proud and making your family proud. And you are a testament to putting in the hard work, and it's definitely going to pay off, right? Even if it's not paying off as soon as you want it to, eventually it is going to pay off. And I'm always big when it comes to this, build a stronger foundation. Michael is able to combine 2 jobs. So don't be in a hurry to just combine 2 jobs. Be in a hurry to build a stronger foundation in whatever you are doing. That way, when you are ready to add on to 2 jobs, 3 jobs, it's not going to be much of an issue, right? For Michael, it's not much of an issue because he's actually built a very strong foundation. If you don't, and you are, like we were saying in the Army, half-assing it, and you are lucky to get 2 jobs, then you are going to be part of the group that are getting paid 200 and something to get high blood pressure, right? You don't want to be that person getting paid to get sick because you are being stressed out, and now you are going to get a very easy, not easy per se, but very good money and flexible job, and you find yourself being more stressed than what you used to do. So take the time to build a stronger foundation. That is my advice for everybody. And the rest, the sky is going to be your starting point. So I appreciate everybody's time. We are going to meet again next week for Cyber Chat. And for our interns, we are not meeting tomorrow because the project we are working on is taking a bit longer than we anticipated. But for all other courses, we are meeting again next week, God willing. So the recording is also going to be sent out early tomorrow morning. And everybody knows where to find me or Eretmis in general. So I appreciate everybody's time. We meet again next week, Friday. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate your time. And Sheila, always a pleasure having you as a co-pilot. So we are wrapping up. Have a great rest of the weekend and a great week next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Duke. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Michael. Thank you, Dr. Edu.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Doc.
Thank you.